All right, everybody, what's up? We're back. It's been a minute, so thanks
Oh
for
yeah.
joining us on the next round. We have Thomas Lundberg, founder of Sellify AI. Appreciate you being here, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's been great
Yeah, thanks
so
for.
far. We've had a good discussion
Oh
already.
yeah, we've
So
been riffing for 30 minutes pre-podcast, which is how we do it. So, appreciate you making the drive down, making this thing
yeah,
happen.
absolutely.
If you haven't checked out Sellify AI, go check them out. What's the domain? Quick, plug it.
Sellifyai.com.
Make it easy for him. You got it, dude. Um, let's just jump into it, man. All of us actually have a background in pest control. That's where we got our
Yeah.
start here. So walk me through what that looked like for you.
Yeah, absolutely. So my background is in door to door, kind of like you guys, and so my first summer was in 2019. So uh and that was with Fox. So I started with Fox, grew a team there, got into ownership. We sold that company to Rollins, and then since then started Sellify. So we do sales automation with AI. So, and we can talk more about it. But and then I run a marketing company, door-to-door marketing company called Ace Cooperatives. And then I didn't tell you about this yet, but I run a nonprofit as well. It's
Cool.
called Gathering Israel,
Okay.
and it's like we basically run Facebook ads about Jesus
Nice.
Oh, cool.
and get people to be missionaries and stuff and learn more about Jesus. So that's fun. So,
Busy man. Got
yeah,
a
it's a good time.
lot of moving pieces there.
Yeah, and a little bit about my family. So I've got a wife, Erica, and one little boy. He's 2 years old. His name's
Nice.
James, and then we got a little girl on the way coming this
That's exciting.
January. So
Yeah.
Congrats, man.
Yeah.
So
that's a little bit about me.
love it, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know what the, little mayhem of little toddlers does. So
Yeah, you have kids.
I got two little boys.
Okay.
Full household there. Talk to me about, being involved in that. Everybody knows the news of what happened, a couple of years ago with the acquisition by Rollins of Fox. What was it like being in an ownership position when you were there?
Yeah, well, I think it's nice that I can say that I was an owner of Fox because it's like a small flex or whatever. But like I was like a glorified sales manager. So it was a good experience. I learned a lot, but got to see both sides of it, not just the wearing the sales hat, but also the operations and profitability side of things. So I owned one of the branches in Virginia Beach, or not Virginia Beach, but Northern Virginia, and yeah, it was a little bit of a different vibe. We were always balancing growth with cost and cash and all this stuff, right? But yeah, in terms of like the sell, it was good to go through an experience like that just to see how the conversations developed and stuff. I um was a little bit on the tail end, so I wasn't like in the negotiation conversations themselves, but I could see I was able to see all the documents and see the whole transaction transpire, things to look for if I'm ever going to sell a company again, and things to be aware of. But yeah, essentially what we did was we sold all of our old branches off, so it was like 100% cash for equity deal. And then the way that it's structured now, we were talking about this for a second, but um, you've got like the old Fox that was sold to Rollins, and so they own all of those locations and the brand and stuff. And then you've got a new kind of company. I call it Fox 2.0, but uh, they have like new owners and stuff that'll open up new locations that are owned by those owners, not by Rollins. They're kind of earmarked to be purchased by Rollins in the future. But and then the third piece of it is just the marketing, the door to door side, where they'll either, you know, market for the old Fox and just get a marketing deal with Rollins, or sell for the new branches. So, anyways, that's a little bit of the nuts and bolts
Nice.
as to how that transpired.
And I'm sure it was probably one of the largest acquisitions back then for pest control that year. I'm assuming probably one of the top
Probably,
five.
yeah. I know there's a couple sleeping giants out there that haven't announced how big they are,
Yeah.
but yeah, to date, I think it's probably one of the bigger ones. So
Yeah. I was just reading the article on PCT, and it was, I think at that time, Fox was the 13th largest in,
yeah,
pest control company.
uh-huh,
So
uh-huh.
a really big acquisition. Also, just awesome foundation to kind of lay the floor. And obviously, it wasn't the first one that happened, but it's nice with that compounding effect of just seeing companies that okay, we can scale this thing. We can have buyouts. We can offer, equity to partners, to owners, and not just the, traditional route of, hey, go recruit your teams and make overrides and go that way. But now you can have ownership and you can have equity and you can be part of this. Like you said, you were able to see the documents, understand the actual transaction,
Yeah.
what happened.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a good experience. And yeah, if I were to do it again, I would probably change a few things,
Sure.
but that's just business. That's just
Yeah.
life, like, so you can either learn by experience, or you can learn, or there's two ways to learn. There's two types of pain. One is pain from your own experiences, and pain from learning from other people's experiences. So I try to learn from other people's pains more than my own experiences, but anyways, yeah.
Yeah.
So
I call it paying the dummy tax.
there you
Cool.
go.
You can
Yeah.
go down and do that same thing that this person already did and they proved it. So
Yeah.
just learn from them. So, question on that, did that make you want to go do it again because you were able to see an exit, you were able to see a transaction, or were you like, hey, this is good. Now let's kind of move on to the next thing. I did my time. I was able to participate and it was awesome. And now I want to move on. What was that like for you?
It's probably the latter. Yeah. I think that I can see the appeal, and there's definitely, like, door to door is going to stay around for probably a long time. It's going to change and evolve and stuff, but it's still going to be there for a while. And so actually, um, when we sold Fox, my plan was actually to stay with Fox and you know, kind of be a part of that Fox 2.0. But the way that the next round was kind of portrayed, and anyways, it just wasn't a good fit for my goals and what I wanted to do. I wanted to kind of take more of the full ownership side of things, and I still wanted to do like kind of the minority ownership route. And I was like, I'm probably ready to move on from that. So I had a network of guys that wanted to do something with me, and I said, well, I can connect, like I can basically hook you up with a good deal if you'd like, and Ace was meant to just be like a one summer, like, hey, let me help you guys out sort of a thing. I signed to have my guys to Fox, or a few of my guys to Fox back again, but um, then other guys did a marketing deal with some other companies, um, and then they did really well and wanted to recruit and stuff, and so that kind of took off. And I was thinking, one of the ways we could take and expand this is, well, let's just create a company where we could do, like, take that team and kind of be an outsourced inside sales team for a lot of companies. We could, like, upsell existing customers and win back cancel customers. And then we're like, oh, we could start texting people to do this because that's worked well in the past. And we're like, oh, we can probably start to automate a little bit of this and just use that in-house. And then let's go find a software that can do this for us.
Yep.
Wait, there isn't a software that can do this for us, so let's just build it our own. That's kind of a little bit of the backstory for Sellify. So
I think those are always like the best stories, because like you create that from your need, then trying to build a product to sell it to someone else because you're like, yeah, I can use this, right?
Yeah.
Like, and you were not thinking about probably building a company back then.
right, no, yeah,
Like, oh, I'm gonna go just solve this problem, and now it's a business.
yeah. We didn't want to reinvent the wheel. We wanted to just find something that was existing. We actually did a lot of due diligence trying to find the right solution. We're like, oh, we could Frankenstein this into this and try to do this, and there was just too many limitations and it wasn't quite feasible. So we're like, we'll just have to build it. So yeah, and then here we are. And then we're like, we'll just build it and we'll just use it. We're not gonna have other companies
Build a
use
company.
it to like a software as a service. We'll just use it ourselves. And then that went into this. And then we're like, oh, we'll just start with text. And then now we just a couple of weeks ago we just released our alpha for voice. Anyways, so it's just kind of naturally evolved based upon what we've based upon the need and stuff and what we're seeing. So anyways, excited for where we're going. There's a lot of new developments we could benefit from for AI.
Yeah.
I
I think this is probably the best time to go build a business, right? Like, because you move so fast, and a lot of these older businesses or companies and software especially, they're stuck, right?
Yeah.
They can't really move as fast. They have to go upgrade their ancient system. So if you're building something new for a problem, you can probably go build it faster than the solutions you probably found in the market.
Oh yeah. And then and you guys probably noticed this too, but we use a lot of AI in our actual coding of the software too.
Like Windsurf, Cursor.
Yeah, exactly. So some of our development that would have taken, 3-4 weeks
Yeah.
now takes like a couple days maybe,
Yeah.
or shorter. Depending on the thing. So it's kind of crazy because you guys mentioned you guys started back in 2024, or you released in 2024.
Mm-hmm.
We were incorporated a year ago, or January 11th, or sorry, uh, July 11th of last year. So I don't know when that coincides with your
Yeah.
company, but yeah, it's just crazy. Like,
Yeah.
we were talking earlier, like, oh, that was only like a couple months ago. It was like 12 months ago. You're like in a time warp where you're like,
Right.
oh yeah, that thing that was only like, it feels like a year ago, but it was only like a couple months ago or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways,
I think it's also crazy that how much, before you would have to go plan, prepare, research, especially for development or like SaaS. Now you can just go get something done in like a matter of few days, right? So the crazy part about that is now all this big human capital, which you'll have to take expense on. You have to raise a lot of capital. You guys didn't raise capital yet, right? For your business.
no, we just bootstrapped it
Yeah.
with,
So I think
Yeah.
bootstrap businesses now have the most amount of opportunity, and that's going to change so fast. Where all these very heavy invested businesses, they're basically taking a lot of the outside capital to build a business, which is built an artificial layer. Versus like someone like you guys can build way faster, way better with the real need. So it progresses really, really quick as well in the cycle, and I think that just changes the gross margin for the entire product.
Oh yeah, and it's been a roller coaster. How did you guys get funded? By the way, did you guys do seed round?
We did bootstrap until last year, so we just raised capital recently. But yeah,
Okay,
I mean, we
sweet.
love the bootstrap days. I think those are more fun.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, it's been crazy. So like, I want to say 2 years ago, I don't even think it would have been really feasible for us to be in business. Honestly, I mean, the texting, has been there. Like, so just a little bit of history. Like, we started everything we had done up until a couple weeks ago had been like outbound texting, not even inbound texting, just all outbound. So to sell customers on, or like to sell cancel customers, win them back, or to upsell existing customers through a two-way conversation over text, and then, close the sale. That sort of technology, the quality of it has existed maybe for a little bit longer than, well, definitely a little bit longer than voice. And voice is just right on the cusp of being, feasible for a lot of companies. There's some challenges that a lot of companies will face, but anyways, yeah.
And it's also about the domain knowledge, right? Like one of the benefits you have is like you understand the actual customer need, the customer interactions. You have the background from talking to these customers face to face. So like you can improve your messaging way quicker, right? I'm assuming that's where your ISP is like you guys are able to go make the product better and better because of all the things you guys already know.
Oh yeah, totally. And you guys probably could say the same thing where you guys did sales door to
Yeah,
door or
right.
whatever. A lot of your clients have been pest, I guess,
Yep.
pest related. Or, I mean, obviously your tech isn't specific to pest, right? But like that's kind of like with us. Like our tech isn't like specific on one industry per se, but I mean that's just the background that I have, and we can easily close the sale. And it's like you just use that back, experience as being an owner at Fox. Just like, oh, I know how this works. I know where the pressure points are. Yeah, it's applicable to a lot of things,
Yeah.
But the problem is you don't want to go too broad. If you
Mhm.
go too broad, then you
Yeah.
solve a kind of a
Maybe
minor.
a surface level problem.
Yeah, but you're not like disruptive in nature
For sure.
Whereas I think we're starting to be a little bit disruptive. It's crazy. I wonder if you guys get this at all. We get some people that are like anti-AI. Like, and I think I don't know. It's just like fear of
Yeah.
it's maybe maybe it is rational. I mean, maybe I'm the irrational one,
Yeah.
but it's almost like an irrational fear that's like they just this doesn't happen a ton, but like
Yeah.
sometimes like you get people that are just super anti-AI, no matter what it is.
Yeah.
But then you get a lot of these really savvy business owners that are like, anything AI, I'm gonna eat it up and I'm gonna only take the stuff that's like changing my business, but I'm gonna like get myself out there.
Right.
But I'm curious if you guys have seen that with
There's
Sequify.
I mean, there's a decent mix of it, right? You have the ones where it's, oh, it can't do everything that I want it to all the way through, so I'm not going to touch it, right? But then you have the other side where it's like, hey, this is the innovation. This is what is going to come. I better get in front of it, right? Think back to, I mean, shoot, I say think back to the internet days. I was a kid. We were all little babies back then, right? When the,
Yeah.
.com era actually happened, but look at the businesses that did survive versus didn't, and how did they adopt? So that's where,
Yeah.
from an AI perspective, I'm like, it's coming no matter what. It is here, and it's how are we adapting to it? Is it going to completely autonomize some jobs? For sure. Those jobs are the low level ones, right? Is it going to take over the high expense, CFO that's doing all these things, or this automation expert, or whatever type of person? No, but it's going to augment their ability to do things so much faster now. So now that business can actually scale. Are there going to be the people within the business that's like, wait, is this going to help me or hurt me? Am I being replaced? But it's also just around the mindset of it, right? How can we adapt this? How can we move forward with it? So that's where I really love, especially what you guys are doing. And we talked about it earlier. It's like, we want to be able to help provide a service, help provide an additional layer to this. And will it replace some costs and actually help businesses scale faster and have, less overhead? Absolutely. But at the same time, it's also going to amplify the current people that are doing these things.
Yeah.
Because that's where it needs that human interaction and that additional element to make sure that it's all done correctly.
There is like there's a very interesting Harvard professor who I listen to. He's talking about AI as like, there's only two places you can fall into. One, either use AI, adopt AI, love AI, whatever. Other is like either protest AI that you can influence the government to shut it down. But if you're in the between of those, you're screwed, right? So if you don't adopt AI and you're not in the person protesting against AI every day, then you're probably going to get replaced because you have no idea. And I think that's how I feel about all of the customers, right? Sometimes when they're thinking about this is like, oh, I don't want to touch it because of XYZ. Or there's a lot of legal firms which were questioning AI like at least a year, 2 years ago. And right now the biggest investments is happening in like legal AI firms because it started to realize like they're not unique anymore. And they can't, because the main thesis is like, okay, I'm going to get replaced. We are the legal firm. We make $1,000 an hour. We're not going to let AI take our jobs. But then the other aspect of it is like, if you don't start to evolve, adopt it, then you're probably going to lose your business because you're not just accepting the change.
Yeah. Yes. And what's interesting with our use case, we have been in a point up to this point, we haven't been disrupting jobs per se, because we started out doing outreach to existing customers to upsell them, have a two-way conversation, right, and close them over text, as well as for winning back cancel customers. And if you look at a lot of these companies, a lot of them aren't even doing that.
Right.
Like they don't even have anyone doing that.
Yeah. It's an amplification to what it does exist, which is other layers, right?
And it's just now that like the tech is kind of getting there to where I could see in a year or two that we actually displace a lot of jobs. But I'd say displace, probably not like eliminate, because the people that are in those, they're just gonna have to
do something else and
be more of like a supervisor or have more of a specialized role. Like I don't think it's necessarily going to like get rid of their jobs, if you know what I mean. But yeah, like we're taking phone calls right now and there's people that don't even know that it's AI. And that's like something like with text that's been there for a while.
Yeah.
I'd say like over 90% of the people that interact, we've got it to be like pretty dang human. Like a lot of people are like, oh, I can always tell if it's AI. It's like, yeah, I can't even tell. And I'm, like, and so over text, you can kind of mask that, but like over voice, it's just starting to get there. And that's where a lot of, there's a lot of call centers and a lot of like, I'm not just speaking to like our company, but I'm just more like in general, I could see kind of a mass restructuring of those types of you mentioned like kind of like the lower skill jobs, like a lot of more of the repetitive in nature and kind of the form filling sort of vibe. So anyways, it's kind of interesting.
But on top of that, I feel like, okay, let's just put it out there. That's kind of the negative connotation of the AI pieces, right? It's going to replace these things, so it's going to displace jobs. At the same time, it allows for so much more knowledge to be consumed by those type of people, by any type of person, right? Now with obviously ChatGPT, Claude, Jonah, whatever we're using, we can now go research, we can now go learn, we can now amplify what we can consume. So it'll actually help us be that next level of what do we need to now do with this, right?
Yeah, essentially what you're doing is you're just increasing the productivity of the organization, and that leads to more jobs, that leads to more like higher quality service, higher quality of life. Like it's kind of got ripple effects that if you look at the microeconomics, then you're like, oh, this like you could take the fearful approach. It's like back in the day they thought that, you know, um, machines were going to take over the world.
Right.
Who knows? Maybe that could happen. I kind of doubt it. But like, they've always been saying this, right? But it's never happened because the more machines, it's like now you
You
just
need
have
people to
people
manage
doing other
anything.
things,
Yep.
you know, and your quality of life just kind of
Oh, for sure.
significantly improves. Um,
It just creates more economy, right? Like there's more GDP, there's more actual value of everything increasing fast. Where I think if you were to get somewhere in like 10 years, now we can get to probably, flying cars in like 5 years, right? Or 8 years. It's like it's going to expedite the speed of how fast we can get there.
Yeah. Yeah. And if we take that macroeconomic look and bring it more to like, let's say we're talking to a pest control owner, it's like, well, how is this going to help scale? Well, now you don't have to, like, this is what we're seeing actually with big companies and small companies. Like, if you think about it, like pest control specifically, it's a little bit cyclical, right?
Yep.
You got to hire a bunch of people to answer all these phone calls and sign people up during the summer,
Yep.
especially these big companies. Like, then they've got to scale down
Yeah.
in the winter, right? And it's actually a significant
expensive.
challenge. And there's a lot of attrition too. And then how do you match that with your demand? You get customers that call in and they're just like not happy because they're waiting for like 5 minutes on the phone or 20 minutes or whatever. If you're understaffed, I mean, if you're overstaffed, then you're overpaying. It's just a really hard thing to balance. And this is something that, you can scale up and down. So you cut a lot of those costs actually too. And so to the individual business owner, they can invest more. What it means is they can spend more money on advertising or something, right? They can get more business. They can book more jobs. They can hire more technicians, have more CSRs. There's just that whole ecosystem. They're able to do a lot more. They can enter into more markets. They have more cash on hand. They can open more locations. It's just, there's a lot going on there. Does that make sense?
Right. No, I mean it's a huge part of actually owning the business, running the business, right? It's the logistical piece of how big does my office space need to be now? How many additional computers do I need to buy per person? And then like you're saying, I have this massive scale up, but then because it is cyclical, now I've got to do the opposite of that.
Yeah.
And now I've got to let people go and I've got to downsize. And now I'm left paying a larger amount for my rent when I, had to get a bigger place. So all those pieces, but really the key part I wanted to focus on there, like you mentioned, is allowing the efficiency to be better for every individual person in the company, for every, business owner, whatever their, realm is that they're focusing in, allowing AI to help them become more efficient and really focus on that. So curious question. We can get into the, let's take a step out there
Yeah.
and see where this is going to go.
Sure.
What is AI actually going to replace, let's just say pest control? And what do you think it's not going to replace?
Well, to answer the second piece of that, I think technicians, the blue collar jobs, that's going to be difficult to replace. We talked about
No
commercial.
robots with,
Yeah,
de-webbing
it's
poles
possible.
spraying
It's
out
totally
there.
possible.
We could
And
see it maybe.
I think it will probably happen to some degree,
Sure.
at some point. Because we talked about before we started about how there's like AI commercial lawnmowers, right?
Yeah.
And so that is, will have an effect on the job market. But I think more directly, you're going to see, at least with our company specifically, you'll see fewer companies hiring people to do outbound, like cold outbound outreach to like cancel customers and upsells. We've already seen that. And so we've had a lot, and then for inbound, we actually talked to a lot of companies that are like smaller companies that are about to hire somebody full time to do inbound. And they're like, you know what, let's just use Sellify instead. So it's more of an opportunity cost. And then you have existing companies that, it's interesting, like what type of jobs are going to be replaced, because you have a lot of sales reps that are answering phone calls, and not every sales rep is created equal. So if we take that bottom 20% just to start with, right?
Yeah.
And I was listening to a few calls. So we have collaborate with a few clients that they send us a few phone calls of like their example sales, whatever.
Yeah.
And oh my goodness,
Bet you hear some fun
it
stuff.
was eye opening. Oh yeah, it was eye opening to see like how how do I say this in a nice way? Like how bad of a job they did.
Yeah.
Like, and they closed the sale, right? Like it took them like
Hey,
20 minutes.
When you want to get rid of your cockroaches, dude, you're
Like-
gonna do whatever.
Like this lady called in, I won't give any specifics, right? This lady called in and she's like, and you guys have done sales. You can tell if somebody's like just sold from the very beginning.
Yeah.
She's like, she's calling in. She's like, I'll pay whatever price it needs to be. Just get someone out here, blah, 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 blah. Right. Well, the sales rep proceeds to like ask these questions that are like, oh my gosh, so bad.
Making the sale
Like,
hawks here.
Rule 101.
After she's already
Get the
committed.
carb.
Yeah.
Move on.
She's already said like, yep, let's do it. I'm good to go with it. And he's like closing, right? Like, and then he asked this question. And then, do you have any like discount codes that I can enter in for you while I'm like, who trained this guy? Like, but then I had an epiphany. I'm like, you know what? What's crazy is with our AI, I mean, we're closing people in like 5 minutes,
Yeah.
6 minutes, super efficient. And the customers have a good experience. And we're not asking, like, generally speaking, we're not asking dumb questions like that. So I was going to tell you, this is a funny story yesterday. I just have to tell this little anecdote, but I get to listen to a lot of our recorded calls, and one of them said, it was just this super angry customer. Like you pick up the phone and they're just like mad at the world. There's nothing that you can do. It's just like, you guys are the worst, whatever, blah, 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 like, and he starts going off, like just railing and, throwing all these swear words and stuff. And, we're just like, calmly, totally hear your point. Let me go ahead and just connect you to customer service or whatever, right? Like, and at the very end, our AI, James, we call it, James is like, hope your day is better, and then transfers it. I just thought it was so funny because we would say that door to door, like just to troll people. Not a good idea. But like if somebody was like, get the F off my porch or whatever, you're like, yeah, no problem. Hope your day is better. Just like so passive aggressive. I just thought it was so funny. Some of the reactions.
You got to humanize it too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't just, oh, thank you for your call. Whatever.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
oh man. On the AI point here, where is it fully functioning today? And not specifically with Sellify, just we kind of made a joke about it. Oh, your business is AI, so everything AI. But where do you see it working to its like maximum capacity? Hey, this is, point A to point B, it's doing the full thing versus where it's still lacking. And we kind of mentioned with the, completion of stuff and kind of V1 of AI was I can consume, I can gather this thing, but I can't actually execute. So curious, what's your take on that?
Yeah. So, I mean, this big picture, I think the companies that are solving a need that is disruptive are going to stay around. Companies that are solving a need that are, that's like a minor benefit or marginal benefit, they're going to have to innovate, or else they're going to struggle. So I'll give an example, like a lot of these voice AI agents, there's a lot of them out there. Most of them are like glorified, voicemails, right? It's like a form fill. Yeah, no problem. Let me take care of your concerns today, right? Okay. And then at the end of the call, okay, cool. I'll make sure that I work with somebody from our team to get you scheduled or whatever, right? Or maybe you're doing some just low-level scheduling or just some basic tasks. It's the companies that are doing basically replacing a human or what a human can do. Those are the ones that are going to be like disruptive. So, for example, for our company, what sets us apart is we can close the sale end to end. So if somebody calls in, we can get them to sign a contract, get them to update their payment method, and then get them on the schedule, right? That's where we're at today. Now, we're not at the point yet. We're going to do customer service eventually because it's actually going to be easier than the sale itself.
Easier than transacting.
I should say
card.
easy. Nothing's easy,
Right.
But in terms of the tasks and stuff that we're doing,
James is going to have a lot of work though.
yeah, true. I know. But I think that there's a lot of customer service related ones out there as well that, they just don't quite perform the action in the CRM, so there's still a human needed. And yeah, so I think there's kind of that difference. Does that make sense? Or
The
is there anything
automations
else
like
for
within
that?
the workflows, like the more and more they can actually do the actual work, then it
Yeah.
can make it more useful, right? Like the efficiency part again, what you're
Yeah.
talking about is like saving 10 minutes, which is a phone call part, now saving the next 20 minutes, which replaces the admin staff. Now you can replace someone else doing the actual manual entry, so you can do everything end to end.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the other thing too of this that's interesting is I think we will get to the point where we can actually do it better than a human. Not just replace, but like do it better. And the way that you can track that is just like, at least in sales, it's your closing rate. How many people call in? How many of them do you close? Right? How many of them do you leave on the table? Right? And how many of them are you following up with automatically? So I think there's a lot of opportunity that's on the table. Um, yeah. So
I mean, one big point with that is, we can just take the sales element of it, because even for us running software companies, having salespeople and doing more of the, workflow there, it's the follow up, it's the emails, it's the tracking everything in the CRM, it's, doing all the note taking. Like, that is the nice part about having it be autonomous, is it doesn't miss. I'm not, cool, quote unquote, it's the perfect rep. But even in regards to how could this amplify a current salesperson, it does the tasks that a lot of times, it's how much time does a sales rep take to leave the notes, to log these things, to do this stuff, to send the text message follow up, to do XYZ, where now we can automate that flow to make that person much more efficient.
yeah.
So they can actually stay closing more deals or doing
Yeah.
XYZ instead of the little tasking subjects.
And
Yeah.
I'm assuming even a step further, like if you're actually working with a lot of these customers who have these weird requests, like, hey, don't come to our house tomorrow, something happened, or come back later, or I'm not available right now. Where AI can actually go call these people back because it keeps a reminder, looks at the schedule, thinks about the customer, which doesn't happen today, right? You can't really track those things. I'm assuming
Yeah.
it saves you probably a good chunk of revenue, which otherwise gets lost in just
Oh yeah. And the follow up is major. Yeah. Like for example, in texting, if somebody's like, hey, I'm not available right now, I get back in town next Tuesday or something, right? Like normal human reps can be like, sometimes they're just be like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, drop it.
Maybe put it in their notes and never get to it or whatever. But yeah, we can actually take action on those things. The other thing I was going to say is, it's going to take two things. Like, one is the innovation of companies to be able to handle a lot of those specific requests or handle a lot of those scenarios, but it's also the innovation of AI itself.
Yes.
Like, the complexity of it and how much that it can handle. Like a year ago, some of these things would have just been really difficult to handle consistently with high accuracy. And so, a lot of times I feel like some business owners can look at it like, oh, I already looked into your company, or maybe I already looked into XYZ solution 3 months ago, but it's like, well, that was 3 months ago.
Yeah.
AI has developed actually significantly since then or whatever, right? So I'm excited to see where we're gonna be at in like even just a year from now,
Totally.
But
It's the compounding effect. I feel like everybody's seen especially the imagery one, the Will Smith eating spaghetti like 2 years ago, or
Yeah,
all that
that's
stuff.
true.
And then now, the new ones, it's like, okay, I can't tell that is
Yeah.
not real. Now it's like,
Yeah.
here's the two images. Which one's AI? Which one's real? It's like, okay, once again, take that's images. Now look at it with texting, with voice, with whatever additional type of evolution is coming,
Yeah.
how much the compounding effect now is going to make everybody just that much more efficient on there.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
um, give us the full scoop. What does Sellify do today?
Yeah, so right now we do sales automation. So it's just as an umbrella, sales automation with AI. Historically, it's all been over text. So text to upsell existing customers or win back cancel customers, and walking them through the full flow of getting them signed up, getting payment on file, whatever, getting them scheduled, optimizing the routes, etc. We can do all of that automated, right? And it's like having a two-way real-time conversation with the customer. And then we just released our alpha. In fact, I should have you guys call our AI for
1-800-BUGS. You get
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, I'll give you the number here in a minute. We can do it probably after, but yeah, we just released our alpha so we can handle inbound phone calls. We've already been making sales. So we've kind of crossed a barrier because never has it been possible to close a sale end to end, like fully closed. Like you don't need a human to go in after and check and do all this stuff and do, fully closed until now. So we're excited about
awesome.
that.
That's great.
Huge.
Yeah.
What does Sellify 2.0 look like?
Yeah, so customer service will be one thing.
Okay.
It'll be performance based as well, so like a dollar amount per closed ticket. So it'll still be performance based to align with our model. And then we'll handle like inbound and outbound phone calling and texting, because right now we just do outbound texting and inbound phone calling.
Cool.
But it's very similar in terms of like the software and tech. It's just more like the use cases. Like most people are calling in, and then people usually want to receive a text if you're doing an outbound text or something. So it's worked really well. But yeah, long term we'll have kind of like a fully automated inbound outbound solution for text and voice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
man. I know we're coming up on time here. The last question that I have is, what advice would you give to other entrepreneurs out there? Let's say, a person similar to the situation you were in a couple of years ago. They were running a company, had some ownership, and then saw a problem. And like you initially were like, hey, let's just solve this problem for us, but then let's go build something on it. So what were, maybe some of the hurdles that you had to overcome? If you were to do it differently, what would you do? What advice would you give to the entrepreneurs that are in that situation today?
Yeah, good question. First thing I would say is to get caught up in a cause that's bigger than yourself. So something that's going to motivate you to wake up early, to stay up late, to to achieve your vision, right? For me, that has been like Gathering Israel, the nonprofit that I run. It's like everything that I earn kind of goes towards that, and obviously my deeper why is like providing for my family and having being a husband and father and stuff. But yeah, getting caught up in a cause is bigger than yourself. And then the other thing that I don't know if it's possible for a lot of entrepreneurs to do this, but one thing that I was blessed with was having the experience where I did receive a payout, and I can now not have to worry about like making ends meet and making money day one. And allowing myself to take risks, to innovate, change, pivot. I mean, we're always going through different pivots, like changing our whole company, sort of a thing.
Yeah.
Like with this voice rollout, it's almost like we're pivoting our whole company, trying to focus on inbound sales. And so I just say, like, don't be afraid to take the leap of faith and to like bet on yourself, yeah, that's probably all I'd. Do you have any thoughts about that?
No, I love it.
You have a similar,
I mean, the
journey, I guess.
The big part to what you said is, okay, a lot of people are like, oh, why do I want to become an entrepreneur? Is it because I want to go make a lot more money and leave what I'm currently doing? Is it because, I actually want to provide something new to the, end consumer out there? Or I really like what you said. It's like, hey, have a bigger vision, have a bigger want than just what you actually want, right? So have something that's going to drive you, that's going to motivate you, because dude, entrepreneurship is tough. It's not easy to get those hard calls from customers, to be that close to closing a deal and then something falls through the cracks. It's like, right, the paycheck is not always reliant as a traditional job would be. And right, a lot of the people that we talk to are in the home service, in the door-to-door space. So I feel like they have the opportunity to get the ground floor and get to connect with other people and see what the actual problems are. That's where I really love, the way that you guys have started to build. It's because it was grassroots. You were doing the thing and you saw the problem, and then you solved the problem. Very similar situation for us. Doing the thing, saw the problem, started to build for the problem, and then it's like, cool, now we can actually go build this and sell it.
Yeah.
Have other people get the same end result that we had. So that's why I love building.
Yeah, I feel like it almost sells itself if you take that approach. If you're not trying to build something that's like you hope would work, that you don't know if it's going to work. It's like, no, I'm actually building a need where I've seen this, I know it's going to work. It's just, I guess, how many people are going to enter the space at that point, because we know that the need's there, right? So,
Sure. Love it. Thomas, we appreciate you, man.
Thank you guys for having me on.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. Where do people follow you, learn more about Sellify?
Yeah, you can
Build a
find us
plug.
on LinkedIn, yeah, Sellify AI, but best place to go is to our website, sellifyai.com. And yeah, I just invite you to like give us some feedback, try out you can demo it right from our website, either the text or the
Text the
phone.
number, make the phone call, talk to some AI if you're lonely.
Yeah.
Don't make it your companion though. Not going down that route. We're just trying to sell you bug spray, okay, people? So, all right, everybody, appreciate it.